Hello, dear ones. Welcome to the coziest corner of the digital world, the Geeky Grandma's Encouraging Nudge. Hi, I'm Jill McCarthy, your Geeky Grandma, ready to infuse joy and techie wisdom into your day. Think of me as your go-to grandma for all things tech, guiding you through the gadget maze with a smile. The podcast is like a warm Sunday family gathering filled with lighthearted stories and wonders of our guests' experience. After years of molding young minds in the classroom, I've embarked on a new adventure. Whether navigating tech or being your sounding board through retirement, consider this your safe place, wherever you are in life. Join me for a lighthearted blend of wisdom, spunk, and enchantment on the Geeky Grandma's Encouraging Nudge. Let's dive into the magic together. And today's guest is named Ashley Holmes. She comes to us from Canada. And I'm going to read her bio. Ashley Holmes is the CEO and founder of the Holistic Fertility Coach Inc. She supports women struggling with infertility to conceive with ease by balancing and aligning mind, body, and spirit. She is passionate about personally designing programs for her clients to meet with them where they are and to help them to nourish themselves from the inside out, to help women navigate their fertility journeys so they do not feel alone. It is a true honor. And Ashley, I want to welcome you. And Ashley's a sweet, sweet, wonderful gal to get to know. Welcome, Ashley.
Thank you, Jill. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. Ashley and I were in a group with Jules Vitality. I had signed up to be a part of her summit, and I think Ashley was already a part of the group. And we spent about 3 or 4 months working in that group together. And one of our assignments was to get to know the other people into the group and kind of check out the wealth of the knowledge and skills and talents the other people have. And that's why Ashley's come here today. And yes, this is the Geeky Grandma Show. And yes, about a third of our audience is 45 to 60, and the other 2/3 is 60 up. So you might say, why isn't this a menopause show? But Ashley and I kind of have discussed it, and many of the things she learned we figured could be helpful perhaps to your daughter or daughter-in-law's life, or even granddaughters if they're of that age yet. And some of it's just plain good advice for anybody at any age, regardless whether the fertility is part of their journey right at this moment in time. So, Ashley, welcome again, and introduce yourself, the name of your company, and how the journey started.
Thank you. Really, I birthed my business, Holistic Fertility Coach Incorporated, from my own fertility journey and the difficulties I experienced, and what I came to know and learn that helped me from having to use a clinic the first time around and doing things the hard way, quote unquote, to finding the easy way and being able to have that dream baby and pregnancy and delivery that I had so desired, and to know that that was possible, and to be able to do so naturally and holistically in a way that felt good for me and my mind, body, and spirit.
Well, thank you. I've told the audience many times that we get together for a pre-podcast session and have a chance to kind of get to know each other and to get an idea of where we're going to go with the podcast. And one of the things we said, my generation, I'm easily a generation older than Ashley, that we worked hard to make sure we didn't get pregnant, and now the next generation is kind of having the opposite direction. So it's almost like we kind of blew the balance too far the other direction. So, um, many of us that are in any kind of a coaching or a people helping service, we're wounded healers that have gone through it our own selves and taken what we know and to tell it back to somebody else and help them on their journey. So tell us how you received help and how it became part of what you do now.
Really, I couldn't find what I was looking for over a decade ago when I was trying to conceive and using a clinic, and I always felt like there had to be more. Why didn't they have any answers? Why was it unexplained? Why were all my tests clear? And walking away blessed with twins, but never wanting to go down that road again and put myself through that again. And later landing on my yoga mat and realizing that I had really been giving my power away, that all my answers had been externally sourced and not internally sourced, and to really begin to shift and value, everything that I put into my mind and body and spirit, and just having that connection when I had been disconnected for so long, and to have tools and resources to navigate stress and to navigate challenges and to begin to know and love and nourish and nurture my body in a whole different way that I hadn't before, because many things have been ingrained in us and conditioned in us since childhood. And it really is an unlearning and a relearning, and being open to that and allowing yourself to transform during that process and realize what doesn't serve you any longer and how you truly do want to live and feel day in and day out.
All right. I'd like to focus in a little more on that phrase, giving your power away. Would you, some of our, that might be a new topic for some of our listeners. They may not have heard that phrase, or if they have, they might not know what it really means and how do you go about shifting it.
For me, I viewed it as something was wrong with me. I needed fixing. I felt broken, which is how many of my clients currently come to me, and thinking that the only option available to me was to go to the doctors. And if they couldn't help me on my fertility journey, then there was nothing else. And that simply wasn't the truth. And when I came to realize that and embody that, then everything shifted for me. I realized I do have control of the thoughts in my mind, and they don't need to control me. I can learn to choose my thoughts and choose empowering thoughts. And my body, I began to treat like a sacred vessel instead of trying to force and make it do something and do what I wanted to do on that timeline in that way. It really was just a shift in my approach, and one that was more honoring and loving and kind to myself versus trying to be very scientific in the approach and wondering why I'm doing everything down to an art, down to a science. I'm taking all these medications and it's still not working. And because it's not working, then we're on to the next protocol where I hadn't caught up to what I was currently doing. And it felt rushed and it felt unnatural. It felt like an outer body experience when I was taking all these things that I wasn't used to. It was like being on an emotional roller coaster ride. And so to have these two experiences, these two pregnancies that were extreme opposites to one another. One was stressful and high risk and an emergency C-section and a longer recovery, versus when I conceived naturally, I was able to go hiking when my water broke, to have a natural delivery, and to be back at Baby and Me Yoga 10 days later. So that's very much a shift in who I had become and really stepping into my power and knowing what I was truly capable of.
Wow. Okay. I can't imagine hiking 10 days after having a baby, but or in the process anywhere there. Um, that taking charge of the power, it's like many of us, particularly as women, tend to give our power away. Like you said, when we go to the doctor, we figure the doctor's going to fix me, and that's an old mindset, and that doesn't have to be a horrible thing because sometimes the doctor can, but sometimes it's not really like broken. It just needed different kind of attention or the type of attention that your body needed at that point in time. And
Yes.
all yeah, and all of us could use help in the nutrition and the health and the body work type of thing. We all need to pay attention to that regardless of our stage of life. Um so you learn these different skills. I take it yoga was one of your main ones, is that right? And
Yes.
okay. We're both audio and video, but she was shaking her head and she definitely said yes. So, um, there, uh, how did you go from doing it for yourself? How long was the transition till you started doing it to help others, or what was that path like?
Really, the pandemic was my pivotal turning point in realizing that when all the yoga studios closed and I wasn't able to teach in the community anymore, that I really wanted to move online and I really wanted to impact people and help them in a more meaningful way, because yoga and meditation are great on their own, but you can really go a lot deeper and go a lot further and learn a lot more about yourself and how it works. And to know that so many women are struggling with infertility, it's 1 in 6 in Canada, which the statistics are staggering, in my opinion. And there truly is not enough support for all the people that are seeking help, and not everybody can afford that help. And it's not necessarily accessible to everybody with where they live. And some people just do not want to go down that road, full stop.
And who could really blame them? Because it is a financial burden that isn't often covered by any kind of a medical assistance, and it. And I also it either seems like there's more people dealing with fertility or more people are willing to talk about it. What do you think?
I think that it's correlated. And I think that not nearly enough people that are struggling are talking about it. But I also feel like the lifestyles we lead now and the pace of our lives is so much more stressful and so much more on the go and hustle and bustle. And we don't give ourselves and allow ourselves to bring in the opposite energy and dynamic into our lives. We're so focused on always going and doing, and we never give ourselves the opportunity to be. And my programs really work with the nervous system to come out of fight or flight mode into rest and digest mode. And it's not a one and done, it's a practice of knowing and giving those practices to yourself when you need them, so that you become more regulated, and so that this isn't such an emotional roller coaster ride, and so that you feel better and you feel like yourself during this process, because it can be like a ride that you just want to get off, you want it to be over and done with, and it's just not the way it works. We have to be able to really embrace uncertainty and discomfort and the unknown.
Yeah, well, I think about, you say roller coaster. Not only do you have your hormones doing weird things like things they aren't supposed to, but you're dealing with that nervous system that's off keel, and that's so much going on. And then you put in the personal family issues or the stress and the financial with it. That's a huge a lot going on. So I've enjoyed studying about nervous
Ayurveda.
sickness. Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
We're having a little bit of technical difficulties. If you're hearing some echoes, we do apologize. My my editor will do wonders, but a few may sneak through. So we apologize for that. But I love learning about the nervous system and the brain and how all of that works. And what does, not in the deepest sense, but what does nervous system regulation have to do in the fight flight business? This is some of our people may have gone through stuck in fight and flight for a long time. So could you just give us a little bit of information on that?
Sure. I personally was sort of stuck in that mode for decades and I didn't realize it. And to know that that's where I was and that's where I didn't have to be, and to know that there was tools and resources available for me to really reset and to shift from coming out of fight or flight mode into rest and digest mode. And so when you're in flight or fight mode, you really are releasing those stress hormones into your body. And we want to be releasing relaxation hormones versus stress hormones, or at least not just have it be stress hormones going along. We want to be bringing in the other kinds of hormones that are our relaxation hormones. And so working with your nervous system really allows you to find that for yourself and to realize, say, if you feel anxious or overwhelmed, and you begin to know when that's present for you, whether it's with your breathing or whether it's with your thoughts in your mind, and to shift that as soon as you are able to and have the time and space to do so, so that you don't stay in that stress state for prolonged periods of time, because we're not meant to, right? Our fight or flight mode is really our primal mode of back when caveman times, when you were being chased, and you're meant to come out of that. And we're living this lifestyle that is often keeping us in that for an extended period of time.
Right. And I notice you use the word decades, and I could say decades as well. That takes a humongous toll on your body. And if you've got the wrong chemicals pouring in, it makes it really hard. Even when you're trying to get things under control, you're fighting against that. It's a losing battle.
You really can feel that way. And you think you're doing everything and you're trying everything. And the sister science to yoga is Ayurveda. And in Ayurveda, we have all these tissues, and the last to be nourished are our reproductive tissues. So it's really important to pay mind, because they get put on hold. They get put last almost on our list. And if everything else isn't in the line and isn't balanced, then it doesn't matter how healthy or wonderfully you eat, those nutrients aren't reaching those tissues.
Wow, I never heard it said that way before. I just I'll give our audience a second to take that in. Um, yeah, because when you're in an emergency situation like the true original, like the lion or the saber tooth coming at you, you're not digested. You're just going as fast as you can, and your energy goes to your limbs to get your legs anyway to get you out of there, and everything else doesn't matter because if you get eaten, you're doesn't matter how terrific the supper was. You just consumed. So, wow. Okay, so if kind of change the direction here a little bit. If somebody comes to your office or online, wherever your office is these days, what what would they probably say when they first got there, and how would you go about deciding a course of action for them?
I truly meet my clients where they're at for what they've been through or what they're going through. And often they come to me saying, "Can you fix me?" And it really is a mindset shift to begin with of I I'm not fixing anybody. I'm not healing anybody. but you can take that healing and health into your own hands, and I can give you all of the tools and resources, but it's just knowledge unless you apply it. So it's learning to give the right pieces and the right sentiments at the right time so that that client feels supported, that that client can implement them, and that client can embody them and therefore see their own transformation. And oftentimes they are glowing before they are pregnant, and food is tasting better, and their digestion has improved, and all of these tiny little symptoms that they've kind of been ignoring begin to lessen, and they begin to feel better really quickly and how they're supposed to feel. And it's like, wait a minute, I have the energy that I have been missing, and I have better sleep, and all of these things that sometimes we don't pay that much attention to that really do impact us day in and day out.
Okay. And how fast of a shift do you usually see in people? How I'm sure it's not exact number of days for everybody, but are you talking weeks? Are we talking months? Are we talking a year? What kind of results have you
People
seen?
begin to see shifts really quickly in a couple of weeks, but I do work with clients for a minimum of 4 months because what we do now affects our egg quality 3 to 4 months from now. So, to really take that concentrated time and energy and effort to be in our optimal state of health and wellness so that our chances of conception are the best that they will be. And that can be alongside a clinic or not, but if you're putting yourself through that, you really want to make sure that you're taking care of all of you and not just the medical or scientific side of things.
Okay. How much of it, I mean, you said a lot of your work is actually a mindset work and working your mind and your body and your spirit. What, how do we want to say it? Uh, how much of it on your side is holding a space, giving the right encouragement, inspiration, that side of thing? How do you, what's your flavor of that seem like?
That that is truly really, and I'm covered in goosebumps. That's a main part of it because it is really challenging, and to create a safe sacred space for someone to be able to open their heart, to say what is on their mind, to say this is what I'm really struggling with, I'm having a hard time this week, do you have anything that would be beneficial for me? And then that's what I offer them, and that's what I give them, and that's what they're seeking in that moment. And that truly is something that the medical world doesn't have time for. You know, you're in and you're out, and it's see you next time. And people really do need to be seen and heard for where they're at and where they are without judgment and without any expectations, and that it's okay to be where they are without any shame or guilt or blame or fear or anything else that goes alongside of it, because often all of these emotions are repressed within us, and to just allow them to surface and to know that that's okay, because often we are only, you know, portraying the positive emotions and keeping all of that stuff stored energetically within us, and that doesn't help us and that doesn't serve us. And that was my own true learning of my own experience, was that I kept it all in. No one knew I was struggling. No one knew I was going to the fertility clinic. No one knew that I was leaving work all these times for all these appointments, and it really was just a big burden to shoulder and to carry on my own.
Which that probably wasn't helping the cause very much either, was it?
No,
Um,
absolutely, it wasn't. And that's why at that time, you know, there wasn't a lot available to me, but a lot has changed over the decade. And we literally have help and people that want to help us available to us within the reach of a fingertip. So there really is so much that we can tap into to help ourselves on our journey.
right. And that holding the sacred space and not being able to fix people, that that would be true pretty much of any kind of online coach that's worth their salt. They're there because A, they've been hurt or gone through something and they've learned things and they can't wait to share that. And they're really sharing what they've learned from their heart, and they're just willing to be there for you.
I think that oftentimes we don't think that that's out there for us, but it is. And there needs to be more of it, with all the people that are struggling. There aren't enough people out there to help all of the people that are struggling right now. And to know that you're not alone in this and that you don't have to go through it alone, and to not expect your partner to be your everything and anything, because as much as they want to, they're in it with you. So it's not a realistic expectation to have of them, even though I personally did that myself too. And that really wasn't fair for my husband at the time.
Yeah. I keep looking at Ashley today, and for the video people, she's got this pretty blue background. Quite usually, when we see each other, it's on Zoom, and she's got this beautiful lotus painting behind her, and her head fits right in the middle of the flower, the blossom, and that's a perfect way to explain what you do.
I really do love the saying of no mud, no lotus. And when you're in the trenches of infertility, you are in the mud and you can't, sometimes see the light, or that you can create this fertile sort of soil within you, and that you can blossom beautiful babies within you. And I think it's just the perfect sentiment of what is possible, but sometimes we have to be in the mud for longer than we want to enjoy the benefits that are on the other side.
And that's a great way to put it. Do you have any last one thoughts for our women out there? And to
I
wrap
would
things up?
really love for anyone listening to prioritize yourself every day and to do something for your mind, body, and spirit day in and day out, because that creates a ripple effect for not only you, but everyone in your life. And what it looks like is completely unique and individual to you. So, for your body, how do you love to move your body? Do what you love to do every single day, even if it's only a 5-minute walk around the block, if that's all you can squeeze into your day. And your mind, whether it's meditation or brain dumping and journaling and getting those thoughts out of your mind, do something for your mind to calm those thoughts, to quiet that chatter, and for your spirit to make sure that you connect with yourself day in and day out, and so that you feel like you, so that you are connected and spark that inner joy within you that makes you feel like the unique being that you are.
Very good. And on that note, we'll say goodbye to our audience. And thank you, Ashley, for being my guest.
Thank you, Jill.
Oh, dear companions, another fantastic story concludes. But fear not, the adventures continue. Can't wait till I see you next week. If our time together sparked joy, and I hope it did, spread the love. Share this podcast with your friends, families, anyone in need of geeky wisdom and a sparkle of joy on their journey. Tech-savvy pals, your task. Head to your favorite podcast platform. Leave a sparkling 5-star rating. Your appreciation warms the heart of your grandma. Stay connected. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, and in our show notes. Share your thoughts, techie triumphs, and grandma-approved tech snacks. As we wrap up, remember, you are cherished members of the Geeky Grandma family. Until our next rendezvous, keep smiling, keep learning, and may your digital adventures be as delightful as a warm hug from your favorite grandma. This is a Geeky Grandma signing off. See you in the funny papers. Bye-bye for now.